You are now listening to Season 1, Episode 2 of FratFluent Podcast. Find us on Patreon, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Disclaimer, this podcast is not for children or younger teens due to foul language and sexual content. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Frat.
What's up, you guys? You're listening to the FratFluent Podcast. I'm your boy, Mo.
And I'm Shelton. This is Episode 2.
This one's for the guys, mostly.
But,
boy. Ladies, I want your take on this too, so let us know what you think. Sheldon, this one's going to be directed at you right now. You're the only one I got. So I want to know what kind of guy you are. Now I'm going to get into this, and you're going to see what the question, what I'm trying to ask you.
I'm a little nervous.
All right, so I'm going to give you an example. So one time, I'm hanging out with two lady friends. And I have a guy friend with me too. But it's all just, we're all friends. Nothing's happening. But then later on, we're at their apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So their neighbors start giving them shit. It's another two chicks that live next door.
Yeah.
So they're just going off on them. But it's it's tenant stuff. I'm not going to get involved. It's not my business. I don't live there. I'm not paying rent there. I'm going to leave the ladies to take care of their business. I'm not there to fight that battle.
Yeah.
So me and the guy who's with me were just talking.
Mm-hmm.
So and later on we find out that those two chicks that are arguing with our friends, they also have two guys in there with them.
Oh my god.
But they were drinking a little bit, so these guys they didn't know that they had two guys in the apartment with them. They just thought it was two girls.
Gotcha, yeah.
So then the guys try to come in and they're taking the side of the two chicks that they're hanging out with.
Naturally.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, of course. Thirsty guys, what are you gonna do? So
drink.
Yeah, those chicks were completely in the wrong. We can get into the details, but I'm just whatever. Those guys start getting really mouthy with the two girls that I'm hanging out with.
Okay.
And it looks like one of them is sticking his chest out, about to maybe throw a push or something. So that's where I literally jump out the door. I'm like, at this point, I get it. We're in 2021 now. All right, cool. Gender roles don't fly. Okay, fine. But there's just certain times where a guy has to be a guy.
Yeah.
You don't let some guy come up and talk to a lady a certain way. And even then, if a guy disrespects you, I don't care if I'm about to get my ass kicked. You know what I mean? You have to stand up for yourself. So I go up and I'm talking to this guy. His buddy comes up to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then the entire time, now I'm getting mouthy. And they're kind of backing off a little bit. They didn't expect two guys to be in there.
Yeah.
So then, luckily, nothing ended up happening and they ended up leaving. They saw they were in the wrong. They shouldn't have gotten involved. So I told them, I was like, listen, we don't live here. They live here.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn around. I'm curious. I want to see where that guy is.
Gotcha.
I turn around, dude. This is the true story. He's hiding behind the two chicks.
What?
Yeah. He didn't try to get, I don't expect you to throw fists. I don't expect you to get into a fight. But it's back me up.
Yeah,
so your buddy... That's all you got to do. If it's your boat, you got to back him up at least.
You definitely have to back him up. Come on. Dude,
I gotta get your take on this. Do you have any friend... for me personally, it changed my whole view of the guy after that. I was like, all right, now I know that I cannot trust you.
Yeah, no, I had friends. I had friends. I swear, I had friends. No, I had friends. I lived in a not great place. So, when we would hang out there, I only had one friend that I was really nervous about, him not standing up. And it was because he couldn't keep up with us. He wasn't slow. He was just, his weight got in the way a little bit, which is fine. He was fine. He was healthy. He was great. But I wouldn't have asked him to pick a fight with somebody with me.
Yeah.
But we had this. Oh my God! This is probably one of the stupidest things that's ever happened. We were walking from one of my buddies' houses, and there were these 4 12-year-olds. Mind you, at this time we're me and my friends. There's 4 of us. We're 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
These 12-year-olds coming by, and they slap this stop sign. And we're like, oh, that looks kind of fun. We were kind of mocking them a little bit. So we walk past the stop sign and we smack it. And they start yelling at us from across the street. They're like, yo, fuck you. You want some? You want some, you little bitch? Oh, he's like, I'll call my big brother on you. I'll get my dad on you. And I was like, really? You can't handle your own fight? So then us 16-year-olds, we're squaring up to these 12-year-olds. I'll end you. I'll end you right now, kid. One pop and you'll be on the ground. Oh my gosh. But yeah, all my friends, we all stood up with each other, and if we got into a fight, all of us were there. Yeah. Thankfully, none of us got in a big fight like that, even though I did live in a not great neighborhood. None of us got in a fight where we had fisticuffs.
Yeah,
but
the big thing is too, you're not trying to ask your buddies to come in and do anything like that. You don't ask. That's the point though.
Yeah.
You want to know that if something goes wrong, these guys are going to be able to like back you up if worse goes to worse. You know what I mean? But with this guy, what I'm telling you, when you see a guy just hiding behind women, and he looks more scared than the chicks did, dude. Like, I can't make this up. It was bad.
I just want to know, like, what the heck?
Even then, like, say a guy's messing with you, for example. Like, my plan isn't, all right, I'm going to go in there, we're going to tag team this guy. No. Or even if we're going to, even if it's 10-on-2.
Yeah.
And we're going to get our asses kicked. At least we're going to get our asses kicked together. I'm not having one guy, hide behind somewhere for cover while you're out there putting your neck on the line for what?
Yeah.
Like, for what?
Yeah, you got to stand up with your boys.
Yeah, I got plenty, like, no, I'm not a UFC fighter. My buddies aren't UFC fighters. We're going to get our butts kicked in. But, like, it's just the principle behind it. It's about being a guy.
Yeah.
There's just certain things you have to be a guy.
Yeah, I agree. We, another little kid we picked on, he threw his football at us in, like, the middle of the road. My buddy, at the time, he was, like, training to throw a football.
Training to throw a football.
And so, like, this fool could throw. He could throw, I think whenever he'd, like, got to his best trying to try out for, like, the QB, he could throw about 50 yards. Like, half a football field.
That's
like,
a good arm, yeah.
He could throw that fool, and he could throw it accurately, too. So this kid throws his little football at us, and he launches it, and it goes over 2 houses and lands like 3 streets over. Like, it was gone, and this kid is running. He's like, I'm going to go get my dad. Yeah. And that was another chance where we were like, bet, do it. My buddy, he had a mouth on him. Like, if somebody mouthed off, it didn't matter what age they were going to. He was gonna mouth off.
That's pretty funny.
And then
I feel like every guy has that one crazy friend that just doesn't care.
Yeah, and he ran to go get his dad or whatever. Like, we don't know what he did, but after my friend stopped mouthing off, he was like, "We need to go." So we like ran all the way home.
He started backpedaling.
He was like, "Bro, we gotta go right now." So we ran home. We weren't too far away, but we ran. We ran fast. He was like, dude, this guy, he could be in prison. He could have just gotten out of prison. He could shank us. So we dipped fast.
I really, really want to get people writing it. Like, what's a similar story you had where you're about to get into something and you look behind you and you're like, all right, this guy's supposed to be backing me up, but then you see that he's either 1, not even there, or 2, like, he's trying to get away from it like as quick as possible.
Yeah, write in your stories. We've got a segment that we're going to talk about a little bit later called Frat Chat, and write in your segments, and we will read them at the end of the show for that segment. All right, so do you have a hold my cup moment for this episode?
It's literally kind of what we just discussed, where I turned around, like, it's like, dude, all right, I'm going to go hold my cup.
Okay.
Right? I turn around, and the guy is hiding behind. All right, for reference, too, so this guy's a pretty big guy. He's pretty tall. Mm-hmm. I turn around. The chicks are I'm going to paint a picture for you. One of them is like 5'4". The other one's like 5'1", 5'2". This guy is damn near like 6'1". So even then, when you're trying to hide behind 2, smaller
little
chicks
girls,
like that, I'm not going to lie. I almost jumped on the side of those other 2 guys that started the problem.
And
I almost started
fuck out of your friend.
Yeah, dude. I'm just like, yo, what is this? Like, do I have to wake you up? Like, do you need an invitation to get involved and help your boy out? I never forgot that.
That's why I'm so glad.
Like, and I got a bunch of friends that are a lot shorter than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all got everyone's different heights, obviously, but that's not the point. The point is they'd put it on the line, and even if we were all gonna end up getting black eyes and bruised up, they would do it with me.
Yeah.
Like, you when you grow up with someone that's like that, those are your guys. You're supposed to back them up.
I mean, we had a lot of sleepovers and stuff at in my house and my friend's house that lived close to me, and there were a few times it was like 3 a.m. and we were hanging out outside, and just there was this group of kids next door that just like started mouthing off to us, and I'm telling you, there were like 7 of us. There were like 3 of them, and they were all a little like we could definitely have outrun them like if we wanted to leave. But, like, there were 7 of us, and we were all sitting in the yard just mouthing back and forth. They were, like, 2 houses down. And we were just like, you want some? You want some? And they were like, I'm going to get my dad. He went to prison.
Oh,
every single time. These kids were our age. They were 16, 17. Every single time that you got in a fight with somebody, they would be like, you want my dad? I'll get my dad. My older brother will kick you, bro.
I feel like that just doesn't happen as much over here. Usually, you don't have the time to go get somebody. Yeah. But over here, it's just, all right, it's happening, it's happening.
And I was the older brother, so like.
Oh, so
so I had to.
Yeah.
I only got in one fight, and I was like 10 or 11, and my next door neighbor, he was toxic. But I've got some more stories about him. But his older brother, who was like he was a few years older than I was. I looked up to him because he was the only older guy that I had. I wasn't like, none of my cousins really lived around, and I was the oldest on my mom's side, and then on my dad's side I was younger, but they were all everywhere. So like my neighbor was who I looked up to because he was the only older like brother figure that I had at the time, and he was there was a couple that had moved like down the road, and so we were hanging out with their kid, getting to know them. You know, he was hanging out with us, but this neighbor, he was like,
was he a crazy guy?
No, he was really chill. He was really into basketball and football.
Okay.
He was really chill, really athletic. Like, he was everything that I wanted and aspired to be as like an older guy. And it was at that age where like teenagers look like they're super mature and awesome, and adults just look like gods.
Yeah.
But this guy was telling me that the neighbor that had just moved in had called my mom a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a no-go zone right there.
So I go over to this neighbor and I'm like, yo, you call my mom a bitch? And he's like, what the fuck you talking about, bro? So we walked to my yard, and my yard had like all these like holes and stuff in it, so it got really swamped out. But at the time there wasn't any rain, so it was really dry. But I took this guy, we went to the backyard, and he turned around, and I ran at him, and I tackled him, like put him to the ground, turned on him. And if you're a fighter fan, I was in full guard.
Okay.
So I had like both my knees on either side of his hips, and he couldn't move. And his adrenaline wasn't like had kicked in, but it was like he was in fight or flight, and he chose flight. So he's like sprawling out, his arms are going everywhere, and I am just boom, 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 just tearing on this dude's face. And so eventually he's like, no, I bloodied his nose and all this stuff. And I get off of him, they pull me off. They pull me off, and he's like, I'm gonna tell my mom, my dad's gonna kick you, bro. I never saw him again.
What a tough guy move. He probably got home, told his parents the story, and he got backhanded for even talking about some other business.
Oh my God!
That's probably what happened. It backfired on him.
He didn't talk about my mom though. Like that guy had made it up. So I beat the crap
for
out of
no reason.
I beat the crap out of some kid for absolutely no reason. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I was livid. I was like, nobody talks about my mom.
Yeah, at that point you only see red. You got predator vision in you.
Yeah.
That's so. Oh, dude, you beat him up for no reason.
I beat him up for no reason. Just tore into that kid, bro. But yeah, do you have any sleep?
Not like that. But I feel like everything here is a lot more tamed. You know, it's the usual stuff over here. Like growing up, when you had sleepovers at your boys' houses, you play video games till like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. You used to eat massive loads of like pizza. You'd get pizza all the time. That's basically it. I feel like we never really got into fights or anything like that, like sleepover wise. So our parents were all like strict as hell growing up. So if you did something like that, like you essentially would have lost sleeping privileges for like a good year. Like they didn't play game, and we didn't want to do that. It just wasn't worth the risk for us.
Yeah. We didn't do anything crazy like that. Like I got into one fight. It wasn't even at a sleepover, but we would mouth off to people at sleepovers if they were like pushing on us. And but no, we loved to prank each other at our sleepovers. Like if the first person to fell asleep, they were a goner. When we were younger, it was like, oh, let's drive a mustache in his face.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And let's put got milk on his titties. Like it was that. But when we got older,
wait, you said put milk on his titties?
Got milk, right? Got milk.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No. No, you'd have to check your face every morning to make sure you didn't have anything crazy absurd going to church the next day or something. But no, when we were older, one of my buddies, he fell asleep first. He always fell asleep first, and usually
you think
like
he was his lesson, dude.
Usually I would just leave him alone because when we got older, like school and stuff got really hectic. His at-home life was a little rough. So like I would just let him sleep because I knew that he hadn't gotten a whole lot of sleep. But this one night, it was me and this guy, and then another one of my buddies was staying the night. Dude, we should put like hot sauce in his nose. And so we get the hot sauce, and then like I put it on my finger like you would like if you ever brushed your teeth with like your finger.
Yeah.
I did it like that, and then as we get up to him, I'm like, maybe we shouldn't put him in his nose because there's a lot of sensory stuff in there. We could really mess up his sense of smell.
He permanently just smells hot sauce.
Yeah. So instead, we brushed his teeth with hot sauce. I put my finger in his mouth, and I went...
I'm cringing thinking about it. Oh, my God.
And that was it. We hung out. He fell asleep at, like, 11, right? So me and this other guy, we're up to, like, 3 in the morning playing games, watching TV, doing whatever, talking about girls, that kind of stuff. We wake up the next morning, and it's about 6, 7 a.m. when I wake up. We may have slept in a little bit later because whatever. But around the time that my buddy woke up, we're all standing around him, like waiting for him to wake up. And he wakes up, and the first thing he does is he goes, why's my mouth spicy? Or he goes, why does the air taste spicy? Something like that. And I was like, like we busted out laughing.
This dude's a heavy sleeper. I don't know how you wouldn't wake up.
He was gone, dude. I thought for sure he was gonna wake up and be like, but no, he fell asleep the whole night. It was crazy. That was the same guy. I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot, but he before, I think it was that same night, either that or like another time, he went to the bathroom and I was playing a game or whatever, and he comes back and pulls his pants down, like completely down, like his bare ass is in my face, almost puts my nose in between his ass cheeks, like he gets that close, and just farts, like bare ass to the face. I almost threw up. I was like,
oh, bro, at that point you don't even just smell it, you taste it.
Dude, it was bad.
You could taste what he had for dinner the night before. That's that bad.
I tried to smack his ass, like it was right there, and he farted in my face. I tried to smack the shit out of it. I don't think I did, but like, oh my god, that was one of the worst pranks that's ever been done to me, is him just right in my face, bro.
Oh my god. Oh, at least nothing came out besides.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Thank God he'd gone to the bathroom before he did it.
Oh.
But yeah, do you have any sleepover pranks like that?
No, not even close. Not even close. Like, you know, at one point, like I lived in my fraternity house for a year. Mm-hmm. You know, when people slept over there, things got a little crazy, but I don't think we used to, like, you know, fart. It would be other things, like, you know, like a lot of people would just go get belligerent drunk. Like like you can't walk, you can't even speak. I had a couple buddies pass out on the front lawn, like, which if you knew where the house was, we're right next to Newark. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a nice area to be at, especially when. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, dude, passing out on the front lawn. Our neighbors actually liked us most times. We always did nice things for the people around us because we felt bad about partying and all that. But I'm trying, like, sleepover is like the most I can really think of, because, like, you know, you'd go downstairs the next morning and you would just see who was on the floor, who was on the couch, and if anyone was passed out outside. Like that, everyone just, the nights would get just so gone. Crazy that you didn't really prank people as much as you did, like, couldn't remember what happened. You have to get together with a bunch of people and be like, all right, from this moment to this moment, it's blank. You gotta tell me what happened. Yeah, it'd get like that. But I don't like pranks. I feel like everyone, like, no one was in the right state of mind to, like, do a prank at those sleepovers.
You guys missed out, bro.
Yeah, we had
some really great ones. I think one of my this has got to be my favorite. This wasn't at a sleepover. It was at a camp, actually. But so this is at a church camp, so, like, every night you would go to church, so you'd wear, like, a really good suit and tie, like, you would look really nice at night for church. And we had this de-wrinkler spray, because you're packing this in a suitcase. It's been in a suitcase for 4 hours because we had to drive a long time to get to this camp, and then, you know, like, it stays in there until that night. So he had our counselor had brought this de-wrinkler spray, and we were spraying each other with it, as you do as boys who are bored because you don't have internet access, any of that. Like, the signal was really bad out here, so we were spraying each other, and one of the guys that we were that had come with us, he got a hold of it and wouldn't stop spraying us. Like, the joke was over. We were like, guys, dude, stop.
There's always that one guy,
and he wouldn't stop. So, like, that night I got a couple of my friends, and there was probably 15, 16 of us, just the guys, like, in our group, and we were in this big, what they called a dorm with, like, 50 bunk beds, and they all, like, every bunk bed was taken, and there were people sleeping on the floor. Like, it was a lot of people, because it was really packed, from all over the country had come to this camp. And that night I got a couple of my buddies together, and I was like, we're gonna pour water bottles on him. We're gonna take water bottles while he's asleep, and we're gonna pour them on him.
This is because the same kid that was just spraying nonstop.
Yes, because he kept getting us wet, so we were gonna soak him. And one of my friends got up, like, he claims that he came up with the idea because he kind of took it, and we were just going to keep it within our group. Mm-hmm. So we ended up telling a lot of people in our group, and most of our group was like, yeah, we'll pour it on him. But then this one friend, he went to the rest of the dorm, to everybody from all these other groups, and they all, like, there was a lot of people.
Everybody got into it? Like,
it was supposed to be like 10 to 15 bottles, and it ended up being like 30, 40 bottles because, like, they just, like, a whole bunch of people came.
You guys were straight up trying to drown this kid.
Pretty much. I'm telling you, like, we soaked him for like 8 seconds straight before this dude woke up. Like, he was in the midst of waking up, and we were still pouring it on him.
Those last few seconds of his dream, the poor bastard probably thought he was
pissing himself.
God. I wonder if he did, too.
Maybe. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, that's true.
But he, so the friend took the glory for it. But I made it. For anybody who thinks that it was anybody else, it was me. but we're all staying up, like, we're acting like we're going to sleep waiting for this guy to pass out. And so, like, we're all laying in bed, and we're not on our phones. I've got music playing in my ear or something to keep me awake, and this guy finally goes to sleep, and we can hear him snoring pretty loudly. So I moved the mattress. He slept on the bottom bunk. I moved the mattress from the top bunk and put it on my top bunk because I slept on the bottom of a different bunk bed. And I grabbed 2 water bottles, and I popped the caps off, and I'm army crawling across the top of this bunk to get in, like, on this guy's face. And then I get in, like, crisscross applesauce, but my legs aren't crossed, like, my feet are touching each other, so that I have that hole in the middle and I can pour it on top of his face. And so we get everybody ready. They've all got their water bottles, and I go 3, 2, 1. And then we just start pouring, and I'm telling you, it was glug, 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 and this guy, he's like,
That's so insane, like,
just getting up. And so we pour out our water bottles, and I jump off the top bunk and roll into my bed, and he's like, what is going on? And he gets pissed. He starts freaking out. He, like, gets up and runs out of the door. And it's in the middle of summer, so it wasn't cold. It was actually really, really, really hot, and it was humid, really bad. But this dude runs outside because he is so livid. Like, he's just crazy mad, and he was over-exaggerating. But he is so mad, and then he runs back inside, and he's still just screaming and all this stuff. And then he goes and he takes a shower to wash off, even though we gave him a shower. Come on. But he goes and he takes a shower, and he comes back, and he's like, man, I love you guys. I know you, because it was a big prank, and, like,
okay, but,
like, the whole dorm.
I'm confused though.
He doesn't know we did it. So the whole dorm, everybody was pranking.
But when he woke up, didn't he see that you guys?
No.
What?
Dude, I'm telling you, we were all in bed by the time that this dude woke up.
Wow, this guy, like,
he was in deep sleep, dude. Like, REM. We didn't go to sleep. That was, like, one of the last nights, and we get maybe 4 hours of sleep every night. And we're young. We're not in. We're not to the point where sleep deprivation is just a part of normal life.
Wait, so now we got to go back. You said that he comes back and he's just like, I love you guys, and he's crying?
Yeah, so he goes and he takes a shower. Then he comes back, and we're all laying in bed. He doesn't know we did it. And he's like, man, I love you guys. I know you guys would never prank me like that. Because, mind you, we're in a dorm with a bunch of other guys that we don't know. Okay. So everybody's pranking everybody. The best place in a dorm is in the corner so that you can watch every corner of the room.
That's true.
So we found that corner. We came like 4 or 5 hours earlier than we were supposed to on the first day to find this corner.
That's crazy.
So we find the corner, and he's like, man, I love you. I know you guys would never do that. Especially you, man. And he points at the friend that got everybody else at the dorm to pour it on him. He's like, especially you. I know you would never do that to me, man. I know you love me. I love you, bro.
Et tu, Brute?
And yes. And so, then, like, 2 years later, we're finally like, dude, that was us. You remember when you almost drowned?
Well, you said 2 days later?
2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's no way he was hurt over it, was he?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He told his dad, and his dad, so this is a big church thing, as I've said before.
Yeah.
His dad got in front of the entire church before we went to the next, like, year of camp.
Yeah.
And he was like, no more pranks.
Wait, you know this guy or no?
Yeah, I know him.
Like, are you guys cool?
Yeah, we're cool.
Oh,
but, like, at the time, he was pissed.
Yeah, but that's just another level of petty. It's like, dude, it's been 2 years. Like,
yeah, but his dad was like, no more pranks. So we couldn't do any more pranks. But that is the best prank that I have ever done. I almost drowned a kid because he sprayed me too many times
you borderline
with a
waterboarded
deer
a kid, dude.
spray. Yeah, he's never gonna go into the military. They're gonna be like,
my
bring
God.
out the water, and he's gonna be like, I'll tell you.
He's gonna have PTSD already before getting shipped out. He's gonna be like, no.
Every time he sees a water bottle, he's like, they're in the trees. They're on my bed. Yeah.
Why do the trees have eyes?
But yeah, that was. I mean, that will go down in history for me. Like, I will always tell that story. I'll be 70 and telling my great grandkids that story. Just when I was younger.
I gotta get some permission from a few people before I can dish out a few stories. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus or start anything.
Yeah, so tune in because we've got some more stories. We got some better ones. Mo keeps asking me this, so I'm just going to talk about it because it's a banger. So let's talk about it. In my intro, if you listened, I said Chinese buffets. And I was very vague about what Chinese buffets are.
I really got to hear this because there's a couple here that I go to that I actually like.
I really hope that this story doesn't apply to these Chinese buffets.
Let's hear what happens. Let me see if I see some similarities here.
So in my town, we have 2 Chinese buffets.
Okay.
And then in another town nearby, we had like another 3.
I'm not going to lie. Let me just stop you right there. I'm kind of shocked that Arkansas would have one to begin with.
Oh, dude.
I just wouldn't. I imagine like barbecue, stuff like that.
We have that.
Yeah.
But we also have a lot of buffets. In my town, we have 4 buffets. And there's probably more.
Okay.
But we have 4 just in my town.
Mm-hmm.
This pertains to the Chinese buffet in another town that was nearby.
Okay.
So in there, about 4 years ago, something like that, the owner of it got fired.
Whoa.
And got convicted.
Wait, how did? Okay.
And went to prison.
Okay. But
The
what?
reason-
Wait, what? Okay, yeah. I gotta hear this. What's the reason?
The reason he went to prison is because in Arkansas, this is a little known fact because nobody in Arkansas wants to tell you, and nobody outside of Arkansas wants to think about it.
Okay.
There are a lot of sex rings in Arkansas.
Oh, dude, I can imagine. Like, it's in the out, like, less eyes on you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways to get in and out of Arkansas without being caught. Like, there's just so many entries and exits. And I know it is for every state, but there are so many towns in Arkansas that have 4 or 5 exits and entrances to where you could get in, drop off your meth, drop off your women, whatever, and get out before the cops even knew you were there. And this Chinese buffet was like one of the hot zones for this sex ring because all of the workers there, most of them were female, and all of them were immigrants that had been brought over and were sex workers.
You think? Like, they were all like Asian workers?
I'm not for certain. I didn't really pay attention to the workers.
Okay.
But when this came out, I was like, and it was one of my dad's favorite Chinese buffets.
Oh.
So he was like, man, I gave this dude money. And I was like, yeah, you did.
So I assume
you probably bought more women with it.
Oh my God! Was that place like shut down?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
I'm pretty sure there's a new Chinese buffet where it was.
Now, dude, I'd be so skeptical. Be like, is this chicken I'm eating? I don't even know anymore.
Tell me about it. It's actually just the fingers of the sex workers.
I was gonna say the chicks that just didn't cut it. They didn't, yeah. Unfortunately, But that stuff's really sad. Like, I know it happens in. It's not just in Arkansas. Like, a lot of lights being shed, even in Jersey.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that stuff goes on everywhere, and you just gotta keep an eye out to try to report it. Look out for suspicious behavior like that.
Yeah, and now we gotta get to a bit of a serious. Okay. If this happened to you, or you know of anybody that this happened to, reach out, get some help. Don't be afraid to get that help because it will help, and sometimes you just need to talk.
Yeah, and even if not just for yourself, you can at least help other people that are currently going through it.
Yes, if you know somebody that is going through it and hasn't reached out to get help, reach out to get them help. Like, they're embarrassed, Like, there's a lot of people when you go through that, they're ashamed. They don't want anybody to know.
Scared, a lot of those people are scared to reach out. They think that, okay, I'm going to go out, nothing's going to change, I'm going to be stuck here, and then it's going to get worse for me.
So reach out. Get some help, guys. All right, let's get back on a bit of a happier topic.
Yeah, we got a little dark there.
Yeah, okay. So let's do one more story. We usually right here we would do frat chat, but we didn't get any new segments this week, so write in so that we can have some segments. We will talk and tell them.
Yeah, and again, even if you put your name on, well, one, it's completely anonymous. We're not going to give out your personal information. Your name is going to be safe. We're not going to talk about your address, where you live, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
It could be anything, from an experience you had to if you're seeking out some advice about something, anything.
Yeah, if you write in your name, just write in your first name. If you don't want your name to be you don't want your name to be said, then write anonymous. Also, write down your state that you're from, because a goal of ours is to figure out what state has the craziest stories. So that's kind of what the Frat Chat is. It's a way to tell some crazy stories and see what you guys are going through, but also a way to figure out who's got the craziest stories and like where we should plan to visit whenever our 401k kicks in.
And as always, we want to remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Instagram, Twitter. Like, again, I'm going to keep pushing that Patreon. That's what helps us pay the bills around here.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. We love you guys. Be safe. Be COVID friendly. And we will see you on the next episode.
Yep. We'll see you guys later.